Good evening and welcome to your City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 15th, 2016, and it is 7 p.m. Regular meetings are held on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. in the council chambers at City Hall. City Clerk Gomez, could you do roll call, please?
Councilmember Genoway? Present. Councilmember McCloskey? Here. Councilmember Minigar?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Slusowitz?
Here.
And Mayor Davies?
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask John Pointer of the American Legion, Post 281, to come forward for the invocation. And then we have Cub Scout Pack 726 come forward to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Well, when they say the gang's all here tonight, isn't it? This is one of the best looking troops and most we've had, so fantastic. What I'd like to do first of all is acknowledge the parents. If you want to stand so we can see all the parents of these boys over here. We want to thank you so much because we know the time and effort that it takes to put in for these kids, that they have the opportunity to grow and really give back to the community. Also, are our troop leaders here? Can you come up too? Come on up. I was going to say, there's got to be a few, more than one or two with this size of group.
For Academy. Hi, my name is Hudson Turner, and I am 9 years old, and I go to Canyon Vista.
Hi, my name is Samson Lassiter, and I'm 9 years old, and I go to Canyon Vista.
Hi, my name is Aiden Smith, and I go to Don Juan Avila Elementary School. I'm in 4th grade, and I am 9.5 years old.
Hi, my name is Josiah Miranda. I'm in 4th grade, and I go to Oxford Preparatory Academy, and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is Max Mercado, and I go to Monarch Bay Montessori, and I'm 9 years old.
Hi, my name is Tate Avranek. I'm in 3rd grade, and I go to Canyon Vista Elementary School.
Hello, my name is Owen Sant, and I am 8 years old, and I go to Canyon Vista.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My name's Sarah Havranek, and I'm Tate's mom, and we live in Aliso Viejo.
I'm Laurie Denton. My two boys are on the end, Bryce and Jackson, and we live in Aliso Viejo.
My name's Lindsay Smith, and this is my boy right here, Aiden, and we live in Aliso Viejo.
Hello, my name is Sam Lassiter. This is my boy Samson. I'm Cub Master for 726 and live in Aliso Viejo.
I'm Katie Chow. This is my son Spencer. We live in Aliso Viejo.
Well, now you're wondering. I'm Laura Del Rosario, and I live in Laguna Niguel.
We'll go ahead and take some pictures. What we can do is take a big group shot with all of us, and then maybe we'll just leave the scouts. Great. Make it a bit smaller, that way you get some of it too. Thank you very much. I also want to point out Dennis Mulvaney over here, who's done a fantastic job. Thank you, Dennis. All right, thank you. Nope, we've got a couple presentations. Our first presentation is a resolution honoring the Nowruz Persian New Year on March 20th, 2016. This resolution has been brought to the agenda by Councilmember Fred Minigar and Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Sluzewitz, so I'm going to have them do the honors.
There's a couple events coming up. The first one, the Iranian New Year celebration, is there's a lunch Monday, March 21st, which is next Monday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That will be at the Sea Country Senior Center, right, with the Age Well lunch. Reservations are required, 949-362-2807, or just call City Hall or call the Sea Country Senior Center. Enjoy half scene, right? Music and dance. Learn about the Iranian New Year tradition. The Nowruz celebration, sponsored by the Orange County Iranian American Chamber of Commerce. Again, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, Monday, March 21st at the Senior Center. All right.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sluzewitz. It is an honor and a great pleasure for me on behalf of the City Council and myself to present this long resolution to the Persian American community of the great city of Laguna Niguel, one of the most affluent groups of the city, highly educated, very dedicated, promoting the best education, the high education in the city. And on behalf of the City Council, I don't know if I want to go through all of these 6 whereases, but whereas for several thousand years, many people have celebrated the Persian New Year known as Nowruz on the first day of spring, when the sun crosses the celestial equator in the northern hemisphere and the length of the day and night are the same. And whereas the commencement of this holiday symbolizes the affirmation of life in harmony with nature, celebrating an awareness of the inseparable link between constructive labor and natural cycles of renewal, and whereas Nowruz continues to be a significant celebration for the Persian community. In the early years, this holiday was marked by religious activities in the morning with entertainment and feasting later in the day for the light to defeat the darkness, and whereas more recent traditions surrounding this holiday include enjoying nature, the great outdoors, feasting with family members and friends, arranging seasonal displays in the home, and wishing for a brighter future. And whereas the city of Laguna Niguel, in honor of the bountiful history of our Persian community, will mark for the first time, I'm adding that to the resolution, for the first time, will mark the coming spring by celebrating Nowruz, promoting intercultural understanding and encouraging mutual respect and universal acceptance of cultural diversity in this great city. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Laguna Niguel City Council honors and signifies March 20th, 2016 as the beginning of Nowruz and encourages Laguna Niguel residents to share and enjoy the traditions, values, and beliefs that surround this holiday with their family members and friends. And on March 27th, on behalf of the City Council, I'll be presenting this resolution at the big event at the Rose Gardens of City of Irvine. I'll be accompanied by mayors and council members of 33 other cities in Orange County, as well as some members from the Orange County Board of Supervisors, the district attorney, and I can go on and on and on. It's a big event. The public is welcome. It's free. And I believe it starts from 11 or 12 noon, 1 in the afternoon until 6. And again, it's free with free parking for everyone. And you have music, you have food festival, you have a lot of amenities and a lot of activities. And again, City of Irvine started this, and they've been very successful. But the biggest happened to be in the beautiful city of Beverly Hills, which has the largest Persian community in California. 1/3 of the population of the city of Beverly Hills are Persians. So if you didn't know about it, the other 1/3 happen to be all the movie stars and all the producers, but 1/3 happen to be the Persian community, and they are very, very involved with all these activities. And our beautiful, affluent, first-class city of Laguna Niguel, we wanted to make sure that we would be a part of the whole thing. And for the first time, we are passing this resolution. And I wanted to thank my colleagues in the City Council for endorsing the proposal that generated by my very good friend, Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Schlusowitz. So thank you very much.
City Clerk Gomez, do you want us down here for the next presentation, or could we be up there? Okay, thank you. Okay, our next presentation will be recognition of our community development staff. At this time, I would like to have Director Jeff Gibson introduce his staff and talk about some of their accomplishments. Mr. Gibson.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. It is a privilege and an honor to introduce to you the staff members of the Community Development Department. They are a very dedicated group of individuals who take great pride in their work and provide a high level of service to the city and this community. They all do a fantastic job, and I cannot begin to thank them enough for all their hard work each and every day. You should all be proud of these individuals because they are truly a valuable asset for this city. The department's Building and Safety Division ensures that the city's homes, structures, and commercial buildings meet the life safety and structural standards, and the homes are safe to live in and businesses are safe to work in. The building and grading inspectors, through their field inspections, ensure that construction contractors are building according to building safety standards, which protects the health, safety, and investment of both homeowners and business owners. The department's planning division oversees the land use vision of the community through the implementation of the city's general plan and the city's zoning and environmental standards. This ensures that new development maintains a high level of design and aesthetics and does not adversely affect existing homes and businesses. The diversity of businesses and residential neighborhoods and the high quality of life in this city is a direct result of the efforts of these city planning professionals and administrative support staff. The code enforcement officers, through their daily enforcement efforts, ensure that the community's high standards are maintained and that the city remains aesthetically pleasant. They are the front lines for signage violations, unpermitted business operations, contacting and dealing with sober living homes, and unsafe and unpermitted construction. All of the department's work functions that I have mentioned are of a regulatory nature, making this work very difficult at times. As a result, they deserve all the support that you provide to them. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce to you staff members of the Community Development Department. As I call your names, please come down to the front so the viewing audience can get an up-close look at you. Starting with the management and administrative staff support includes Planning Manager John Morgan. All right. Administrative Secretary Liz Freo.
We're going to have you come up front so everyone can see you. That's right, and turn around. This is your moment. That's right.
Department Secretary Dalen Zampino. The Building and Safety Division includes Building Official Gary Hawken. Senior Building Permit Technician Antoinette Gulick. Building Inspector Bob Elkins. Building Inspector Johnny Reitmer. and Building Inspector Jack Gawitsky. The Planning Division includes Senior Planner Jonathan Orduna, Senior Planner Eric List, Associate Planner Adam Johnson, Code Enforcement Officer Hori Murtaugh, Some of the other staff members that weren't able to attend tonight's meeting include Assistant Planner Daniel Martinez, Assistant Planner Catherine Moran, our grading engineer Abdullah Sharif, Code Enforcement Officer Kathy Lowe, our planning aide Courtney Fram, and receptionist Kim Middleton, along with building inspector or building permit technician Kelly Fitzgerald. They were all introduced individually, but they stand here as a very competent and effective team. When I'm out of the office, John covers as acting director. When John and I are out of the office, Jonathan fills in for the both of us. When Megan is out of the office, Liz helps out in her absence. Dalen covers for the receptionists and helps the building division when needed. When Gary's out of the office, Bob fills in. We have building inspectors that help at the front building counter, which is a rare occurrence in other cities. Eric stops what he's working on to assist other departments with their various graphic projects. 4 out of the 6 employees on the Employee Association's negotiating team came from the Community Development Department. The examples of teamwork go on and on. And for the fine work that they do for this beautiful city, I thank them from the bottom of my heart and applaud them.
I'm actually going to ask the council to make our way back down so we can get a picture. And Jeff, I want to make sure you're in this, okay? To mention is the city's been really working hard on doing cross-training. So that way people do have an opportunity to step away, whether it's for education or a workshop or a vacation, and things continue to run smooth. So good job, Jeff, with working that. I know Mayor Pro Tem has a few words he'd like to say.
Again, I want to thank everybody for their hard work, Jeff for your leadership, but everybody else for the teamwork. The city is beautiful. Everybody knows it, and everybody comments about how beautiful our city is. And the reason it is because of this team right here. And you have made it beautiful from the design stage, through the planning, through the code enforcement to keep it that way, every step of the way. And it's because of you guys that we have such a beautiful city to live in. So again, on behalf of council, I want to thank everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. That concludes our presentation and brings us to public communications. Any person wishing to address the City Council on any matter, whether or not it appears on this agenda, is required to submit a completed gold-colored request to speak form to the city clerk prior to being heard by the City Council. Each person will be given 3 minutes to speak. Are there any requests? And I've got one right now. I wonder if it's a public request. I'd like to call up Nona, is it Bremer? Brimer, thank you. If you can state your name and your address, that'd be great.
Good evening, Mayor Davis and Mayor Pro Tem Jerry Sluisewicz and the rest of the city council members. My name is Nona Reimer. I'm a teacher at John Malcolm Elementary School, and that address is 32261 Charles Avenue. Turn around and face them, all right? It's a pleasure to be here tonight. For 4 years, Malcolm Elementary School has been involved in the VEX Robotic Competition Foundation, which challenges students in the ultimate STEM activity. And as you all know, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Students are presented with an engineering challenge, and in the form of a game and with the guidance of teachers and mentors, they design and build innovative robots to score points in a game. Along with building robots, students keep accurate design notebooks and program robots to run autonomously on the game board. Finally, each team develops a STEM research project. This year, my Malcolm program has expanded to 3 teams. Excuse me. 2 teams are 5th graders with 22 scholars participating. Tonight I have Cole Fancher, Anthony Ducato, and Lexi and Joshua Chernikoff here representing our 5th graders. Along with my now 3rd year 7th grade team, and I have Gavin Fancher here representing our 7th grader from that team that is comprised of students from 2 of our local middle schools. All 3 teams have won numerous awards this season in regional competitions. Our STEM research projects focus on subjects such as post-traumatic stress disorder, regenerative growth powder, and nanobot technology. This past Saturday at state competition held in Pasadena, all 3 teams qualified for World's competition to be held in Louisville, Kentucky, April 20 to 24 next month. The entry fee, though, for each team is $850. Add to that airfare, hotel accommodations, meals, and the needs to transport these delicate robots that you see in front of you. We estimate that the cost per family will be no less than $2,500, and some families, like the Chernikoffs, have more than 1 child competing. And we have no Capistrano Unified or outside funding. All costs are borne by the families. Last year, the Laguna Niguel City Council graciously supported my Dana Point Robotex with a gift of $1,000. I am hoping that this year we can count on the council for considering a similar donation for all 3 teams. We look forward to coming back again on April 5th and give a student presentation of our research. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Well, congratulations, and I just have a question. Have you insured the robots?
We were discussing that. We're designing, they're probably going to be designing special cases to ship these robots back there.
Congratulations. Great job. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
back then a little bit, huh?
All right.
All right, thank you.
And I'll leave a copy of this tentative budget with you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, seeing there are no more requests to speak, I'm going to go and close public communications, and we're going to move to the consent calendar. Let's go here. We've got consent calendar items 1 through 6. Are there any items that need to be pulled for comment or discussion?
Madam Mayor, I just have one item, which is number 4, that I wanted to pull out just for amplification and correction purposes only.
Okay, do I have a motion to move the remaining?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion moved. Let's move to item 4, and Councilmember Minigar.
Well, just a couple of quick items that I've discussed that with the Director of Public Works and also City Manager Foster. Just a couple of items to make the corrections, 21 traffic signals versus 40, and inclusion of a nice map to show jurisdictional boundaries between different agencies, and also to have an itemized listing of the hardware and software that we would be paying for, because we have the largest portion of the hardware element of the entire ITS program from OCTA. And beyond that, I'm very happy with the whole thing, and I wanted to move forward with this item.
Is that a motion?
So I make the motion to approve.
Second over here. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moved. All right. Our next item is Public Works item number 1, and that is the approval of plans and specifications for Tier 2 entrance improvements as Crown Valley Park cash contract number 15-04. Public Works Director Abazadi, may we have your staff report, please?
Yes, Honorable Mayor and council members, Nancy Palmer, the city's Environmental Programs Manager, has a PowerPoint presentation this evening for us.
Good morning, Mayor and council members. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to present this to you this evening. This one's been a little while in coming. Let me make sure I can operate this. There we go. The Tier 2 Entry Improvements Project is the second phase of the Crown Valley Park Master Plan implementation. As you know, last year we completed the Tier 1 improvements at the amphitheater and the playground area. Tier 2 improvements will provide a new entry bridge and some additional parking for the park. And then Tier 3 coming up next will be a new community building, locker facilities, and an events plaza. Just an overall view of the entry improvements project. I'm going to start from the left to the right. We'll be constructing a new parking lot at the south end of the park that will provide some direct access via a stairway to the upper soccer field, which has always been a little bit hard to get to from the parking areas. So that will be a good amenity. It will also provide for some overflow parking and some trail parking as well. Moving down to the right, which is actually toward the north, we will have some improvements in the channel for habitat and water quality purposes. There's quite a bit of grant funding coming into this project as a result of some of those improvements. So that's a key feature. In the center of the slide there, you have the proposed new entry bridge, which will replace the existing dip crossing bridge, which floods when we get rain. If we get rain, it will flood. This will mean that we don't ever have to close the park again because of that kind of flooding. Then moving further to the right there, we have the new north parking lot right there at the entry. This will allow drop-off and stationary parking serving the softball field and the lower soccer field. Some of the features along the entry bridge area on the top left there, the new bridge, unlike the existing crossing, will actually have sidewalks. So people can walk in safely. It will also have bike lanes on either side, so you can ride your bicycle in. Over at the entry, we'll have up on the right a nice archway that advertises where you're arriving to. This is an aesthetic feature that matches a similar sort of smaller scale archway that we have implemented at the playground in the Tier 1 project. So this is the larger version of that, in essence, to welcome everyone to the entire park. The bridge will also have lighting, new lighting on either side. We'll have banners on the lights. This will be the same kind of thematic level lighting that we have on the Tier 1 improvements, and we'll be continuing that as we go in through the Tier 3 and finish enhancing the rest of the parking lots as well. And then on the surface of the bridge, we'll have some enhanced pavements to kind of keep things at the kind of quality that we want to be able to expect in Laguna Niguel. Moving on to some of the additional aesthetic enhancements at the bridge entry. The facade, as you can see, is going to be embellished with a stonework and also some cast concrete features to give it some depth and kind of an old world sort of character. The railings will also be kind of decoratively shaped and formed. The light fixtures, there's a close-up of what they look like. They have, again, the same character as what we have on the Tier 1 project. And then we'll have planter pots and enhanced pavings as well. The stonework will be the same stonework that you see today on the amphitheater building and on the restroom building, the Tier 1 restroom building that was just completed last year. At the north parking lot area, this is the one that serves the softball field and the lower soccer. We will have a one-way circulation pattern to kind of facilitate the goings in and out. It'll have drop-off space for people just dropping people off for games and practices, handicap parking, and an entry monument sign, which I'll show you in the next slide here. This did not come out as well as I would have hoped. Let me apologize for that. But basically, the entry monuments are it's a V-shaped low wall structure that will have an electronic marquees mounted so that you can see them either whether you're going northbound or southbound on Crown Valley Parkway. And in front of that will be a landscape planter with a low wall to kind of set off things and then move it up a little bit so you can see it easily from the roadway. The south parking lot area is at the very south end of the park, kind of near that little shopping center that's down there. This will have a turnaround also for drop-off parking. I think it's 27 stalls, and then you can see going up to the right a stairway that leads up to the upper soccer field. Schedule on the project, the construction drawings are now complete. They've been in production for almost a year now. We would like to request authorization to bid this evening. Assuming that happens, we would anticipate awarding the contract in the middle of May and starting construction in earnest after the 4th of July event in July. If all goes well, we should be able to switch over to the new bridge structure in approximately November, although I just want to caution you all the fancy facade embellishment stuff will not be done in November. That will come a little bit later. We want to hurry as quickly as we can to get the basic structure completed so that we can finish out the rest of the demolition of the existing structure, which won't happen until the new one is open. And then we'll finish up the aesthetic enhancements after the new bridge is actually open to the public. The completion of construction scheduled then for May of 2017. That summarizes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Yeah, Councilmember McCluskey.
I think this is going to be beautiful. I'm really impressed with the work you guys have done, and I think that bridge is going to be really a great monument in our city. I would like to suggest that we have an additional bid proposal. Can you go back to the slide that shows the entry?
Okay, with your permission, I'm going to actually go a little bit forward.
Okay, you have to.
Since I had a talk with Councilman McCloskey this afternoon, so I'm anticipating his question.
You're anticipating us, okay. Well, I would like to propose that above Crown Valley Park, we put in something that says the City of Laguna Niguel, because this is going to be a premier feature in our city, and I would like it to be known that the City of Laguna Niguel is really behind this. So I would like to see an additional proposal to put something above Crown Valley Park, recognizing the City of Laguna Niguel. And if everybody would agree with that, I'd like to get an alternate bid, what the extra cost would be for that feature. And it may even include a city shield on it.
There you go. I wanted to request for the same thing.
Oh, okay.
The city logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the top of the whole thing.
Right. So what's the protocol here? Do we vote on doing that, or how do we do this?
Not yet, because I have two questions, and I hope you.
I haven't anticipated your questions, so hopefully I can answer.
My first question is with regard to other construction support. I mean, I see the line items for construction management, 696, let's say, $700,000 of taxpayers' money. But what does constitute other construction support in your budgeting aspects of this phase 2 or tier 2?
The other construction support includes support from the design team for such things as addenda to the bid documents and any other kind of clarification that needs to come out during the bidding and also during the construction. Very often things, especially when you're reconstructing on an existing site, you find things as you're building that you weren't expecting to find that way. So they're there to kind of provide support, to answer questions and provide solutions when those issues come up. We also need to have...
May I interject? On an as-needed basis?
That's generally on an as-needed basis, right. Yes, that's right. And the other pieces to that would be the geotechnical engineering and specialty inspections and materials testing that's required there throughout the project. When you do major grading, you always have to have geotechnical engineers verifying, what you're cutting, with the quality of what's being remediated, making sure that all the concrete is meeting the correct specification. There's a lot of work that goes into that process. And they start during the design, but they need to continue. That work continues throughout the period of construction. Another piece to that then is the biological monitor that's going to be required here, because we are working within the jurisdiction of the California Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and also the Regional Water Quality Control Board. All of those agencies require us to monitor, for example, whether or not there are any sensitive species discovered during the course of construction. I don't know, pond turtles, least Bell's vireo, that sort of thing. But we are also proposing to start construction really pretty much in the middle of the migratory bird nesting season. So we will need to have the biological monitor out there, making sure we're not violating any of the terms of our permits that are applicable here.
So this is on the top of the permits that I see $959,211 or so. These are additional fees.
The design services permits fees, that $959,000, that's all of the design for the whole project.
Right.
And the fees that we pay to these various agencies to get
Right.
the permits and the application process for the permits. So the support services during the construction is the day-to-day presence of the biologist in doing this kind of monitoring and directing any kind of mitigations that might be required as that goes along. And again, that's on an as-needed basis.
One final question. Are you including cities' inspection services, or you're excluding, those services from this total, subtotal?
I do not include the cost of any city employee staff in any sort of activity that they might do out there. However, we do include the construction management team, which does include inspectors that are contract inspectors. But that's a separate line item. The one, actually this was an item, the $696,000 was approved as a contract with Wallace and Associates last month.
Thank you.
One final comment, the construction support services
Yes.
proposals, I expect to bring those back to you along with the bids in May, so you'll have better numbers for that.
On that note, I have another question. You're going to treat them as A&E services, or you're going to treat them like a construction, the lowest bidder would get the job?
Those kinds of professionals are normally professional services agreements, and so we do have the opportunity to carefully vet the qualifications of the people who are doing that work.
Thank you.
Ms. Palmer, if you could, Mayor Pro Tem Schlitz and myself are on the ad hoc committee of this, of the parks. And if you want to explain to them why we'd probably be starting in July, because I'm sure a lot of people are going, why are you going to start in the middle when we've got concerts and things going on, so that the public knows.
The project itself is going to take close to a year to actually construct. So we actually had quite a bit of discussion about when would be the best time to start the work, because there was no way we were going to be able to avoid one concert season or another. There was no way we were going to be able to avoid the nesting season. There was no way to avoid the rainy season. So it was really a case of how do we manage it in the best way we could figure out. And because so much of this major heavy construction is actually in the flood control channel, we concluded finally that the smartest, most practical thing to do would be to do your major heavy construction in the flood channel outside of the rainy season, because the rainy season, assuming it actually rained, could really wreak havoc on the overall schedule of the work.
Great. Also, there's a grant that has a deadline as well, is that not so?
We have actually 2 grants on this project, one of which is from the Orange County Transportation Authority, and another which you will be getting the paperwork on sometime in the next month or so through the Integrated Regional Water Management Program through the state of California. Both of them have deadlines. There was the Integrated Regional Water Management Grant had what I would consider a somewhat odd a deadline, because they had a deadline for a start date that was actually prior to the completion of our paperwork to make sure that I have not yet brought you that paperwork to approve because they have not yet given it to us. However, the start date that they put in their grant solicitation when they issued it last summer was that we had to start work in the first quarter of 2016. And I have, over the last couple of months, given that they are behind schedule themselves on their paperwork, gotten a concurrence that we can start work in the first half of 2017, or 16 rather, excuse me. But that's what's pushing it, is that we have these outside factors coming in.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Davies. And again, Ms. Palmer, thank you very much. You have tirelessly worked on this thing, and excellent work putting it all together. I know it's hours and hours, and I know that we have a couple of the designers. Maybe we should recognize them. We got Tom Munoz, and if
Right.
you want to
I have Tom Munoz and Dave Fertone. Dave Fertone is the project manager with Hunsaker Associates, who is the prime consultant. And then Tom Munoz is with Nuvis Landscape Architecture, who's their sub-consultant.
Who helped design the whole thing.
And they've been present with us throughout the process, and the ad hoc members have chatted with them quite a few times.
Right. Well, again, I want to thank you guys. Appreciate it. But the main thing I wanted to go back to, the mayor's point, was this starting date, because, you know, we did spend a lot of time looking at it. And not only was it what Nancy laid out in terms of the multiple scenarios, we kind of came down to 3 scenarios. And I believe the difference between the scenario we picked here and one of the other scenarios, which would have started it maybe a little bit later, got it out of the concert season, and maybe had the new bridge built for the new concert series, and maybe the tidy up, I think it was almost a $2 million variance between starting when we did and maybe one of the ones that worked a little bit better for the scheduling.
Right. We did vet 3 different possible schedules, one starting in July, one starting in September, and one starting in February. And being realistic about that, even though we could avoid certain of the events, or at least lessen the impact on certain events, the amount of risk that we took if we had come with, I mean, we may yet get an El Nino rain year next year. The potential delays to the overall schedule in a serious rain year would really have pushed you way beyond. And that anytime the scheduled time goes over, the cost goes up because you're continuing to pay your support team, and sometimes you have to continue to pay your contractor as well. And the impacts last longer on the park itself.
So the bottom line is this, you know, starting it here was the most cost effective to the tune of potentially millions of dollars to the taxpayer. That's why we picked this start date.
Councilmember Genoway.
Yes, on the biomonitoring, is that just during construction or because of the location of being ongoing?
The biological monitoring that we're speaking of in this staff report is during the construction. Typically, when you have this kind of permit where you're doing some what's considered habitat mitigation, this project is what you might call self-mitigating, in that because we're establishing new habitat within the project, we don't have to do anything else above and beyond that. But you typically do have to continue monitoring and maintaining that vegetation for 5 years afterwards, and filing annual reports with each of those agencies. So that will be a separate thing, because that won't really, in terms of a contractual arrangement, because it will not even begin until the next fiscal year, which will be 17-18.
And then that'll be part of our annual budget.
That'll be part of your budget coming up, and we will be relooking at what those contracts are. At this point, we're anticipating that the biologist on this project, who was also with Glenn Lucas Associates, was also a subconsultant to the design team, will continue through the construction, because Hunsaker's team will be carried forward to do the construction support during the construction, but it's much more of an open case what happens after that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Attorney Dixon, in regards to the recommendation, we can go ahead and approve the plans and specifications for Tier 2 entrance improvement at Crown Valley Parkway and authorize the release for bidding. Can we also then add a line in regards to getting a cost in regards to adding the City of Laguna Niguel on the bridge?
Yes, certainly that can be added to the motion.
Okay.
All right, so moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moved. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Nancy.
Tom.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, now on to other business and council reports. I'm going to start with Councilwoman Genoway, please.
Actually, we had one more business item.
Oh,
Madam
I'm
Mayor.
sorry, what did I miss?
Speed limits.
Boy, I'm really moving here, aren't I? Okay, gotcha, sorry. Oh, there we go. Our last item is Public Works, item number 2, and that is the update of speed limits within Laguna Niguel. Public Works Director Abzadi, may we have a staff report? My apologies.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Roadway speeds are required by state law to be updated once every 7 years through engineering and traffic surveys. The California speed limit law is based on the reasonable driver test, which essentially says 85% of the roadway users travel at or below reasonable speeds. It's only 15% of the people who will speed along on roadways. So the surveys that are conducted, they basically target the 85th percentile, or the majority of the folks who use the roadway. And the study essentially sets the speed limit at or near that 85th percentile. In the past few months, city's consultant conducted surveys on 45 street segments in town, and majority of those roadways retain their existing speed limits. There are 6 roadways in town, and I will go through those, where we are recommending decrease of the speed limits. 2 streets, Sea Glen and Via Marini, the speed limit will drop from 30 miles to 25 miles. On Kite Hill, Yosemite, and Park Vista, the speed limit will drop from 35 to 30 miles an hour. And on Camino Capistrano, the speed limit will drop from 40 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour. The Traffic Commission reviewed the recommendations in January, and they've endorsed the results of that study. This evening, we're recommending that City Council introduce a new ordinance to amend ordinance number 91-45 to revise the speed limits to lower speed limits on 6 city streets. With that, I'll be happy to respond to any questions you may have.
I have a question. Ness, have we received complaints on these streets, or is this solely due to a traffic study that these new speed limits are being recommended?
These are solely based on the studies that we've done, but at the same time, the study also takes into consideration accidents on those streets, older streets that we look at, as well as sight distance issues that they might be present. So it takes into consideration all the issues that we might have on these roadways.
Thank you.
Director Abzadi, just a point, I know we were talking discussion, we have these streets, you do have additional streets that we're going to be looking at within the next few months, correct?
Correct, yes. This report this evening covers roughly 46% of the city streets. The next batch will be done this summer, and those the results of those studies will be brought back to the commission as well as the city council.
Thank you. Then I know we also discussed if we're going to be making the changes in the speeds, that we can have something up there letting the drivers out there know ahead of time that these speeds are changing, and so that it's not all of a sudden, you know, you got a ticket the next day.
We will definitely use radar trailers on these roadways.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor Davies. And again, I want to thank you, Mr. Abzadi, and I want to thank, Chief isn't in, we have Sergeant Songer sitting in the back, but he's got his name tag up here if you really want to join us. But I know that the Sheriff's Department worked with the, and Siad's as well in the Public Works Department's here, and I know he's in charge of traffic quite a bit as well. So I want to thank you all for your efforts, because this is great news for the city. We're going to reduce speeds on 6 streets to make the city safer and help out, traffic safety. I think that's a big part of what we're looking for is safe streets. It's really important. We have good, high-quality streets due to, the planning, or the Public Works Department as well. And now, in conjunction with public safety, these are going to be even safer. I do have one question. While I agree, that lowering the speed limits is always a good thing, makes life safer, the only question I have is on item number 5 on the Camino Capistrano stretch from Paseo de Colinas to the south city limit. As you know, there's been a lot of construction on that Paseo Colinas bridge. They were doing a retrofit for it took over a year, I believe, for that. And then we also have the situation that we continue to look at on south of Avery on Camino Capistrano, which is the turn lane for the in and out, the truck parking, many times illegal on the sides of the streets that's apparently marked. Did that construction at all affect maybe this 85% drivers, which, glad they were safer, but did they slow down because they kind of had to, and now that the construction is over, like maybe a week, and if we do ever change the way they get into in and out, which I would love to see changed, did that possibly come into play here?
No, it doesn't. The surveys are taken under what's known free flow conditions, meaning that there are no obstructions on the road, there are no major events going. Typically, it's done between the hours of 9 to 3 p.m. outside rush hour, when most drivers feel safe to be on the road. It's essentially, the surveys are done under ideal conditions. So the construction should not have had an impact on the results of this particular study.
Great, thank you. And I do think that this is excellent news. So thank you very much to your department and to the Sheriff's Services for your joint efforts.
Councilmember McCluskey.
Nasser, I just had one question. After in your experience, after the speed limits are, say, reduced, does it actually reduce the average speeds on these streets? Do they actually come down?
Well, again, these are the speeds that 85% of the people on the roadway were at. So essentially, it's the drivers who have pretty much told us what the prevailing speed is out there. Some people do pay attention to the posted speed limits. I know I do. And if I'm in an unknown area, I always look and see what the speed limit is. Some people do. And again, as the basic speed law states, there are 15% of the people who typically don't care what the speed limit is. But the majority of the people do care.
So I guess my question is directed towards the 15%. Is there an incentive for them to slow down?
I'm sure the police services will provide incentives, yes.
Jack.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
All right, Mr. Dixon, do I have to read these as A, B, C, and D separately, or can we do this all as one recommendation? Okay, so the City Council, I want to make a motion, City Council introduce a proposed ordinance change, which is ordinance number 2016 XXX, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laguna Niguel, California, amending ordinance number 91-45 by revising the speed limit on 6 streets within the city. To B, waive the reading of the full text of the proposed ordinance. And again, we need a majority vote on this one. C, consider the proposed ordinance and make every desired changes to it. And D, direct that the proposed ordinance with any changes to it be placed on the agenda for the April 5th, 2016 City Council meeting and adopt the ordinance at that meeting.
Can I have a motion to have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. I need to have my speed limit lowered down on the agenda. All right, now on to other business and council reports. Let's start out with Councilwoman Genoway, please.
Okay, attended the Oso Creek Trail ribbon cutting, and as did all of my fellow council members. And that's really a testament to how great our staff is. It's a project that has come together. It's a beautiful trail. Had a wonderful ribbon cutting that was hosted by Parks and Rec as far as their staff putting that on. But it took the whole city, the team, to work together to make that happen. And I recommend that you go walk the trail the Saturday after the ribbon cutting. My daughter and I did for our Saturday morning walk. And even though it's near the freeway, it's very peaceful. It's very nice. And also, you know, we have a real asset in this community, and that is that our city has approximately 80 miles of trails. And if you don't know where they all are, I suggest you go on the city website and uncover these hidden gems that are right here for us to use. Attended the youth committee meeting, and we have such a dynamic group of high school students. It's incredible. We also had a meeting before the city council meeting as our special meeting with them, so that we could talk to them about, you know, what do you see as far as what can we do as a city to bring to our teens and enhance their experience as teens in this city. So I'm very proud of those students. They are very energetic, they engage, they think, and really, they think about, you know, really not only what do they want, but what do their peers want and what can help them. So we have some good things coming up. April 16th is the College and Job Fair. All high school students in Laguna Niguel should be there. It's here at City Hall, April 16th. And also for the employers in the city, if you're looking for summer help, contact Gretchen Malcolm at Parks and Rec to see how you can participate in that College and Job Fair. Attended the Court of Honor for Troop 772, and my son received his Eagle Scout from 772 about 14 years ago. I can't believe how much time has flown by. But I want to thank all the parents who have been involved with that troop and all our Boy Scout troops over the years, because they are continuing the tradition of leadership development, which is very important to the health of our community. Last week was the Junior Civic Workshop. Judge Matthew Anderson and Deputy Cesar Cisneros were the speakers, and they talked about the role of courts and how do they keep our community safe, and also had a very factual discussion on drug abuse, and it was very impactful to the students, and the parents appreciated it. Next month will be our very own Parks and Recreation Department as the featured speakers. And Senior Committee. We have a totally awesome Senior Committee. They are talking about social activities, life skills, policy issues. If you are a senior in Laguna Niguel, contact a member of the Senior Committee, speak with them, let them know what your interests are, because they are bringing it all to the seniors in our city. And they started the Tech Tutors, which is a program where the high school students are teaching the seniors how to use their iPads and their iPhones. And it's great to see that interaction between the generations. And that is it for me.
Thank you. Councilmember McCluskey.
Okay, as mentioned, I also attended the Oso Creek dedication along with all the other council members. I also was at the 772 Court of Honor with Mayor Davies and Council Member Genoway.
And Mayor Pro Tem.
And our Mayor Pro Tem. And it was a great event. I chaired the Orange County Fire Authority Budget and Finance Committee meeting. We have some interesting things coming up. They're in labor negotiations right now, and that will probably play out over the next few weeks as they go forward. The Fire Authority is working on a new deployment scheme, and Laguna Niguel is one of the cities that they're doing a trial. It's actually for the emergency response vehicles. They're upgrading the trucks to have an emergency EMT technician on board, so it gets rid of the requirement to have more than one vehicle, because the way it runs now, you have 3 people on a fire truck, but they had to have an emergency medical tech come back in another vehicle, and then an ambulance comes, and so it looked like a real trail of people. So they're trying a new deployment schedule, and it's going to be tried in Laguna Niguel as one of the test cities. I've asked Jeff Adams, our battalion chief, to give a presentation on this, how it affects the city. The bottom line is the response time is going to be cut down. So, and which is very important when you're dealing with emergencies. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Minigar.
Well, I also attended the big ribbon cutting for the Oso Creek Trail. The city staff and the city as a whole has done a superb job. I'm very proud of the project. and the ultimate implementation of the plans, it adds a great amenity to our beautiful city. It makes our beautiful city more beautiful that we can brag about, and we can compete with other affluent cities in California. And by the way, it happens to be, near the entryways to the city. So, and it's also a very good marketing tool since we are developing the gateway area, and it adds a lot of values to the existing as well as all the future developments that we are contemplating to build in that area of the city, so that we rejuvenate, we revitalize that portion of the city. I also attended with all of my council colleagues the Meet Your Elected Official big reception at El Niguel Country Club, and it was very well attended. And at the end, Congressman Dana Rohrabacher came. I was not expecting him to show up because he has to attend so many different meetings at the same time all over Southern California, but he did show up, and it was a very good meeting. We chatted with all the school board members, all of them, all three of them were there. And as I said, all of my colleagues were there, and interacting with, all the elected as well as the community leaders and the citizens at large that happen to be present at the meeting, so that if there are any issues, they can bring it to our attention. And in one venue, we could see what was happening at the county level by our chairwoman of Orange County Board of Supervisors, Lisa Bartlett, as well as Assemblyman Bill Bros, representative was there. And we had some special guests from Mayor of Rancho Santa Margarita was also attending the reception. So it was very well attended and a very good event for our city, not only to showcase what we have in this quiet and beautiful city, but also to see what's cooking for the citizens out there.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Schlitzwitz.
Thank you, Mayor Davies. Besides all those that I was mentioned collectively, the Parks and Rec had a meeting yesterday. And again, they're getting items ready for budget, as well as some of the items that were budgeted this year in terms of final design that will be brought to council for the 3 parks from this 15-16 budget. I want to not only call out staff. I mean, Allison Giglio and her staff do just yeoman's work. They're constantly putting all these together, and then all these fun things like the Oso Creek Trail and all that, it's her staff that does that as well. So they do a lot of work, but there was a couple particular members of the committee, the vice chair, Mark Stensby, and the chair, Robin Cashin, who not only picked designs that you guys will all see that I think are going to be fantastic for these 3 parks from the current budget, but they fretted to get it down to the budget, to the dollar. I mean, it was, they talked about that, and they came in right on a budget. And there was a member of the community that watched that discussion that came up and said, I'm so pleased to live in a city that you guys care about the budget besides just making sure the amenities are great for the city. So I want to call them out. And again, Allison and her team that did a great job. This Thursday coming, I've got an Orange County Vector meeting, and the reason I bring that up in advance is we had the first Zika virus in Orange County. And someone called me about it, and they said, yeah, but he was traveling in South America, so it really doesn't matter, right? Because he didn't get it here. I just want to make sure everyone understands how West Nile or Zika virus works. Someone travels to an area that it has that. They get infected by a mosquito over there. They come back here, and there's some ifs involved, but this is how it spreads around the world. If a mosquito bites them here before they're treated, then that mosquito now, if it's a certain type of mosquito, it's the tiger mosquito, which we have here, indigenous to Orange County. That mosquito will go and bite a bird, okay? Now the bird has it, because mosquitoes don't go very far, but birds do. They migrate all over. So the birds, when they nest and sleep, other mosquitoes bite the bird. Now mosquitoes in other parts of the county now have it, and that's how it spreads. So when someone travels and gets the Zika virus and comes back here, it's not like you say, well, as long as I don't go over there, I don't get it. Yeah, you could. So this is a major deal. There's no cure. Just like West Nile, there's no cure. And so we're going to learn a little bit more about what's going on there. But it is very concerning that we have cases now in Orange County. However they got here, that can cause the spread here very, very quickly. I just want everyone to know, best way, wear repellent, wear DEET, wear protective clothing, don't keep standing water. I know we have a lot of water raining, and now it's supposed to heat up again. So if you have like little pans underneath your pots outside and they've got this much water, a thimble full, that's too much water. If you've got a pool, you've got a water fountain, and it's not moving, as long as the water's moving, that's great. But if you have standing water, not good. And that's how it breeds. So very, very important to protect yourself. I just want to put that warning out because, you know, when I first got on Vector, it was a nothing committee. It was kind of like the one you didn't want to be on. Unfortunately, it's not that it's growing in popularity, but it's growing in concern. And then finally, I just want to mention that this robotics team, I thought they were great. I don't know if we're putting them, they said they're coming back, if we're putting them on the agenda, I just think that we should consider that. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Davies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. All right, I recently attended the Myth of Weeds program. It was put on by Police Services in Mission Viejo. There are a few of these programs going through Dana Point, I think San Clemente, Laguna Woods. I highly recommend checking this out. I just think it's really important that everyone does get the facts on marijuana, especially since this could be something on the ballot coming up in November. I also attended the South County Senior Day, which was at the Community Center in Mission Viejo, and this was put on for Senator Bates, Assemblyman Bill Breaux. Again, this was sold out. It was so great. They had to have probably 500-600 seniors coming to this, and they talked about dementia, they talked about Alzheimer's, but they also talked about the different resources that are out there for them and their families. So they did a great job. I volunteered on Saturday for the Laguna Niguel Military Support Committee. We had a baby drive at Walmart both Saturday and Sunday. Again, very successful. I mean, the weather was great, but I can't tell you how generous the community of Laguna Niguel is. I mean, we just had, you know, basket after basket of diapers to clothing to strollers. So they did a fantastic job. We'll have more numbers at the next meeting that we can bring to the council. And also I have Meet the Mayors coming up. That's April 5th. At 11:30, this time we're going to be doing it at the community park at the botanical. We're going to have a botanical garden tour. So come, we're going to have some box lunches. The first 50 have box lunches. It's going to be very casual, but you know we're there to actually hear your concerns, tell you what's going on with the city, tell you about the park and Tier 2. But we really want you to have the opportunity to explore the botanical gardens. It is a hidden gem, and we'll have some golf carts up there to be able to take those that aren't able to make it up there. But it'll be great. We'll have a couple of the volunteers acting as docents and giving you the input of this botanical gardens, because it's something that I really hope that we can push this year and get some of our teens and our the youth and the seniors up there. Also, Neighborhood Watch. We have our Neighborhood Watch program for the community. That's April 11th. That'll be in the community room at 7 p.m. Again, right now we have 73 active Neighborhood Watch programs in Laguna Niguel. We have about 110 HOAs. Our goal is to hopefully increase that throughout the year. Again, your petty theft and burglary has gone up, and this is something that we can actually stop ourselves. The police services are doing, everything they can, but just simply by, paying attention and making sure that your car is locked and you're not leaving your phone on the seat or your purse on the seat, having that neighborhood watch sticker, being active, knowing, who your neighbor is, and watching out for each other. Again, we started that in my community about 3 months ago, and we've reduced our crime rate by 30%. Which wasn't high, but that's, that makes a difference. And again, see something, say something. It makes such a difference. And, you don't have to be afraid to pick up the phone. They're not going to ask you who you are. They just want to know what's going on so they can go check it out. It's much better to get there and find out it was nothing than get the call and have to deal with it afterwards. So we can make a difference. I highly recommend if you can just be a citizen, you can be on the HOA, you can be part of a property manager. Please come to this Neighborhood Watch program, April 11th, 7 p.m., so that we can actually make a difference and that they won't be coming to our city. Thank you. All right, now we're going to move on to our staff reports, and I will remember to finish up with City Manager Foster because I have a big note here. So we're going to start off with our Finance Director, Earlson. Okay. Attorney Dixon? Okay. Ms. Bell? Mr. Gibson?
Yeah, I wanted to personally thank the council for the opportunity to recognize all of the employees of the various departments. It's heartwarming to see them all here in this forum. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to my staff, so thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Gomez? Okay, Skilio?
Hello. Thank you, Jeff. Your department helps us out all the time, too. We appreciate all the help. Also, the Bunny Blast is coming up. This is an annual event on Saturday, March 26th. It is free, 9 to 12 a.m. at Chaparosa Park. We're going to have crafts, games, face painting, bounce houses, entertainment, and we're also going to have the Touch a Truck event where kids can see the fire trucks and the ambulances, and we've even had Molten DeGale trucks out there, and it's really fun for them to see all those. And also we have a spring break skate camp coming up April 4th through 8th. That's a Monday through Friday camp from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and you can register through our ActiveNet system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assistant City Manager Fox. Public Works Director. Nope. Okay, great. And of course, back to our City Manager, Rod Foster.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have two items real quick. I want to congratulate Jeff as well. He does a wonderful, wonderful job. He's a wonderful leader. And I'll tell you, it's amazing the amount of work and the amount of good that you can come from a staff when you just get out of the way and you let the sun shine on them. And I'll tell you, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to work here. And Jeff, thank you. Thank you for being my community development director. You've done a wonderful, wonderful job, and we're just very proud of you and proud of your whole team. It's very much appreciative of the way that you honored your team, and that's because of your leadership. Secondly, I want to make an announcement. As you know, my son goes to J. Sarah Catholic High School here, and I have an international exchange student who I call my son as well, Dave Haukala, and he's a varsity player. And I was looking at my phone a couple times because my wife was texting me from the Honda Center. The J. Sarah varsity team has won the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Championship. So they are champions of the Anaheim Ducks High School League, which is a very big league. It basically goes everywhere from just about LA, because the Kings have now started their competitive league as well in high school hockey, and goes all the way down to San Diego. So it's a wonderful honor for that high school team. They left the Honda Center on a bus to go to Los Angeles Airport because they are leaving to go to Virginia tonight to compete for the national title in Virginia. They'll be there as well. J. Sarah played Orange Lutheran, which is the other big high school hockey team here in South Orange County. And Orange Lutheran will be on the same flight with them, so that'll be an interesting flight. And then they'll compete again. So those are our two teams that are representing Southern California, and they'll play probably, I say, as many as 8 games over the next 5 days, and hopefully they'll come home with a national title. So very, very proud of them. Proud of my Finnish student. He's acclimated very, very well. My son was in JV. They made it to the semifinals, but ice hockey is a growing sport here in Southern California, and it's dynamic the way it's grown. The Ducks were very, very a big part of that, even though that's kind of hard for me to say as a Kings fan, but the Kings have also expanded as well. So it's really great to see youth hockey and to see that at our high school level. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I also want to mention that we had a special council meeting with the youth committee prior to this council meeting, and it was just fantastic. It was great to hear their input. They had great ideas of, how we can, as a council, enhance the well-being of the teens that are in our community. So we're looking forward to hopefully taking some of these ideas and implementing them sooner than later. So with that said, I'd like to conclude tonight's City Council meeting. We're now adjourned at 8:18 p.m. Thank you and have a great evening.